Hello, dear friends. Some words of Torah for Parshat Tzav. We also read this week Parshat Parah, which of course is a repeat of the commandment to manufacture ashes from a red cow, mix it with water, and purify the people. The mystery, of course, is how taking the ashes of a red cow can in some way remove ritual impurity that is the product of contact with the dead, what we call tumat met. The Talmud teaches that this mitzvah originates with Avraham Avinu, with Abraham, our patriarch. When Avraham was pleading to God to spare the city of Sodom, Avraham described himself as being completely unworthy to even approach God. He said, Hinei ho'alti l'daber al Hashem. I wish to speak to you, O God, but ve'anochi afar va'efer. I am but dirt and ashes. Now on this verse, the Talmud teaches that because Avraham called himself dirt and ashes, his descendants were granted the mitzvah of the ashes of the Parah Aduma and the dirt of the Sota procedure. And you know the Sota procedure, the attending Kohen takes water from the laver, mixes it with some earth from the temple floor, and presents it to an accused adulteress for drinking. We ask just two basic questions. What in the world is the connection between Avraham's intercessory prayer for the people of Sodom and these two mitzvot of Parah Aduma and Sota? And secondly, there's another mitzvah involving ash that is not mentioned by the Talmud, which does appear in our Parsha. At the beginning of Parshat Tzav, the Torah tells us that every morning in the temple, the Kohen must scoop up the remaining ash from the previous day's sacrifices and disposes of those ashes outside the temple. Why didn't the Talmud say that in the merit of Avraham calling himself ashes, his descendants were given this mitzvah of removing the ashes? The story of Avraham praying for the people of Sodom teaches us a lot about the national character of the Jewish people. Firstly, it teaches that we don't enjoy seeing bad people destroyed. We would much rather find some saving grace even in a group of bad people than to see them harmed. Secondly, it demonstrates that Avraham was entirely optimistic about the human condition. So many times we see cynicism and nihilism on social media. If we judge people purely from their online personas, people are mean, petty, jealous, and small-minded. But that wasn't the way Avraham saw people. He truly believed that even a small number of people, if they are good, then eventually everyone else will come around and learn to be good from that small group. After Avraham heard from God that there weren't even 50 righteous people in Sodom, he called himself dirt and ashes because he wasn't ready to give up on humanity. He pressed Hashem further with the attitude, even a small group can eventually positively influence the masses. After all, look at me. I'm a nobody, just dust and ashes, and I've succeeded in influencing a significant number of people to turn towards goodness and God. Maybe even 45 people or 40 people or even 10 people will be able to have the same kind of influence on others. When Hashem saw Avraham's optimism in humanity, he decided that Avraham's descendants should have mitzvot that are reflective of that kind of hopefulness. Let's look at the Sota procedure. A married woman has been seen fraternizing with another man. We just don't know if she's actually guilty of adultery. The relationship has already been damaged even before she drinks the Sota water. But the Jews' optimism in humanity inspires us to believe that no matter how much betrayal has taken place, it is possible to salvage a marriage as long as the ultimate betrayal hasn't taken place. You can look at dirt in one of two ways. On the one hand, dirt itself has no value and is undesirable to have around your house. But the same dirt, when part of the soil, acts as the very incubator for future plant life and growth. The Sota procedure suggests that even a marriage that appears to be dirty and discardable can be repaired. Mix the dirt with water, and you can recover a habitat for new life and a viable future for this distressed couple. In the same vein, the ashes of a dead animal can be viewed either as something discardable or a material that can be used to produce new life. Many botanists have demonstrated that forest fires are actually healthy for any forest ecosystem, since through this kind of organic deforestation, younger saplings can grow stronger, and the nutrients in carbonized wood in the ash itself acts as a fertilizer for the soil. That is why the Torah has two words for ashes, Afer and Deshen. The word Afer is used to describe ash that can be used for the future for some future utility. In our Parsha, the word for ash is Deshen, which represents a discardable product of something which used to be filled with fat and moisture, but now has no longer any use and must therefore be discarded. And that's why the Gemara didn't cite the mitzvah of the ash removal from the altar as a mitzvah that was given to Avraham's descendants in his merit. The Shalah HaKadosh says that we must remove the ash from the altar because these ashes represent the remnant of the sin for which a sacrifice was brought. Discarding the ashes signifies that the sinner has been completely forgiven, and even the remnants of his sin must be discarded. But Avraham's plea for Sodom was just the opposite. Yes, these people may be ashen in their behavior, but there's something redeemable about them, since even ashes can be used for something productive in the future. Instead of discarding them, God, hold on to them and be optimistic that they too can make a positive contribution to your world. I'm reminded of ashes in light of my most recent trip to Israel, where our delegation visited the town of Kisufim near the Gaza border. Kisufim was hard hit by the terrorists on October 7th. During my trip, I posted about a man named Danny Gerkovich, a true hero of Israel and head of Kisufim's fire brigade. In the photo, he's standing at the entrance of his daughter's charred-out home. She and her husband were burned alive by the terrorists, embracing in their deaths. Danny expressed great pain that he was in charge of putting out fires, but could not do so for his daughter on October 7th. He gave us so much strength and said that we must honor life and not dwell on death. His last words of chizuk were, Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel live. Danny and those like him are the key to the power and eternity of our people. I was truly privileged to recite Kaddish with Danny in that hallowed place. So many of us are in pain over these last 6 months, but we are the children of Avraham Avinu, and we harbor the optimism that from these ashes, new growth shall arise. We must reaffirm that Am Yisrael Chai, and that our people will emerge stronger from all of this. Great things are in our future as a result of today's ashes. We should embrace the purifying ashes of the red heifer in that vein. And so, dear friends, may we merit to see those days of purification and consolation. May we see them b'mehera b'yameinu, amen, speedily in our days. Here's wishing you a beautiful Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom.